Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to the Best Bets episode number 14. Today we're taking a look at UFC 313, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev, which is taking place tomorrow, March 8th, 2025. We're doing this on the Friday just because the lines didn't really properly come out yet. There was a couple fights that were moved. Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda was added. Those props were not available yet. They are now available. We're going to be taking a look at the entire card, giving my best bets to start off, my 4 best bets on the card. We'll be taking a look at props afterwards, and then we'll be taking a look at parlays near the end. This won't be an edited video, so if you're looking for the parlays, go ahead and head on to the end of the video. If you're looking for props, we're probably going to be about 2/3 of the way in. If you're looking for those best bets, let's get right into it. We're going to be starting off with the first best bet now. We are hovering right past. I was going to put Chris Gutierrez as my first best bet. We're going to put him as an honorable mention. I just don't want to have too many stacked up in a card. I think Chris Gutierrez's boxing is going to be he's more of a slow point fighter, and John Castaneda kind of does well against that, but I think Chris Gutierrez is just good with the takedown defense. I think John's going to get a little bit tired going for takedowns, and I think Chris Gutierrez can beat him up in the point fight and eventually make the fight go longer and just kind of force Castaneda to gas out. Anyway, we're going to skip past that. We're going to go ahead and start with the first best bet of the evening. We have Marion Santos versus Francis Marshall. We're taking Marion Santos to win, and honestly, you could take it by knockout, but the lock is going to be the line, minus 300 money line. It is a little bit steep, but I do believe Marion Santos as a plus 175 is going to get it done. I think if you want a safer bet, plus 105 not to go the distance. I think Francis Marshall is a little bit disrespected as an underdog here. He is 8-2. He does have 2 wins inside of the UFC. He does have 2 losses, I believe both by finish, if I'm not mistaken. He does kind of give up those fights where he kind of gasses out and ends up getting pieced up on the feet. And I think Marion Santos is the perfect type of guy to just lay it on Francis Marshall. He had significant success, excuse me, there we go, there's the word. Significant success against guys like Con Ofley. He's kind of a smaller Alexander Volkanovski type character, and he couldn't even get the wrestling started. Marion Santos just kind of butchered him and just didn't allow anything to even start. And I think it's going to be similar. I think it's just going to be a complete domination from Marion Santos. It might be a little bit closer than some people think, but I do believe that Francis Marshall might just live through that first round, and I think he's going to get torched inside of that second, and I think we're going to see a good knockout victory once again for Marion Sanchez in front of a crowd finally that actually is worthy of his presence, because that fight inside of the fucking Apex, man, if it would have been a legit, like, inside of an arena, he would have had fireworks inside of that goddamn place. Anyway, we're going to move on. Next best bet of the evening. It is kind of disrespectful of me to put this as a best bet since it's so chalky, but Carlos Leal, man, he beat Rinat Fakhretdinov. I still cannot believe that. I lost my shit. I bet money live on Rinat Fakhretdinov thinking that they were going to rob Carlos Leal. They did. They were in Abu Dhabi. They gave Rinat the win. A completely undeserved. Rinat got pieced up the whole fight. Arguably could have been a 30-27 for Carlos Leal. Rinat had nothing for him, and now he's getting given Alex Morono, very good vet inside of the UFC, really good takedown pressure. Problem being, every single time I watch this guy fight recently, he gasses out inside the 7 or 8 minute mark. That's a huge fucking problem. When you have a guy like Carlos Leal who's a knockout artist, he's going to be forcing the striking exchanges. He's not going to be grappling with you because he's so good at the takedown defense. You have a big problem. You have a big guy who's going to be forcing everything on top of you, and you have to be able to last 3 rounds. I don't think Morono can last 3 rounds. Carlos Leal by knockout sitting at a minus 120. It's your best bet. It's inside distance. Carlos Leal inside distance sitting at a minus 145. That's probably your best bet for this fight. I love Carlos Leal here. I think Alex Morono's on his way out of the UFC. I think he's just a little bit too sloppy when it comes to the welterweight fights. I think his cardio's not really in check. I think the fact that his only recent win is Court McGee is very telling. He's only beating vets inside of the UFC, and Carlos Leal is not a vet. He's a prospect at this point. He is a guy that I believe can make it far inside of the welterweight division. He has the skills to be there. A little bit of a questionable juice head. We're not sure. He does have a lot of acne on his back. Could just be acne, but it does look a little bit suspicious. But again, I do like Carlos Leal to win this fight tomorrow evening. Now, We're going to move on to the next best bet, Joshua Van versus Ray Tesoro. Ray Tesoro looked like shit against Carlos Hernandez. And Carlos Hernandez would have got butchered by Joshua Van. So when we're really looking at this fight, I like Joshua Van here. He's a dog. He would have beat Charles Johnson, ended up getting knocked out. He's beaten Edgar Chairez, who has significant grappling, has an amazing mix-up capability. Cody Durden, who has amazing mix-up capabilities. He's just kind of consistently being given these guys that he needs to show himself and prove himself for, and he does it without doubt. He just kind of shows up and shows out, and you have Joshua Van to go to a decision sitting at a plus 140. The fight in and of itself to go the distance minus 180, I don't mind it. That bet is really decent, to be completely honest. Either one of these guys probably going to a decision. Ray Tesoro did get a little bit pieced up by Carlos Hernandez. He was gassed inside of that third round. If you see the exact same similar style inside of this fight, Joshua Van might really hurt him inside that third round and might put him down for good, because Joshua Van is not a guy that fucks around with his power. He leaps into his punches. He's really precision striking and really closed in when he moves, and he doesn't really get hit all that often. The only reason why he got knocked out by Charles Johnson, Johnson's corner told him, you're down 2, you got to fucking put him out. Johnson literally ran at him and just caught him off guard. I like Joshua Van here. I think he's going to be able to possibly put out the lights at Ray Tesoro, and if not, take him to a decision where I think he wins as a minus 170 money line. Now, we're going to go to the final best bet of the evening. We were picking between Mauricio Rufy and Ignacio Bahamondes. I'm going to put Rufy as an honorable mention. Realistically, he should be a best bet because he's my most confident pick. Okay, you know what? We'll do this. Mauricio Rufy is going to be my 4th best bet. I think he's going to knock out Bobby King Green. I don't think this is going to go to the scorecards. Mauricio Rufy knocks down almost every single fighter that he's ever fought against. He loves to take it inside distance. He doesn't want to see those scorecards. He doesn't want to give any doubt that he did not win the fight. And Bobby King Green cannot take a punch. He's looking a little bit chinny, looking a little bit vetted, keeps his hands down. Mauricio Rufy throws away fucking fadeaway right hooks. It's a problem for King Green. King Green's going to get clipped by one of them. I think Mauricio Rufy under 1.5 rounds could be a very good bet, sitting at a plus 150. I don't mind it. I like Mauricio Rufy by KO inside distance, minus 105. I think Bobby King Green's just on the way out. A little bit older. Like I said, a little bit chinny. We're going to definitely see tomorrow night. We're going to move on to the honorable mention that I was talking about. Ignacio Bahamondes versus Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner cannot get a win over top-level competition. It never ceases to amaze me that this fucking guy is ranked even, because he can't do it. Like, he literally can't do it. I'm not sure what's going on with this kid. I'm not sure what his problem is. I'm not sure if he has an issue going on inside of his camp. But even the Renato Moicano fucking loss. Dude, you beat Renato Moicano. Follow it up. Why are you waiting for the ref to stop the fight? That is not your fucking job to back away. Finish the fight. Walk forward. Dumb. Very dumb. I do believe he lost it. A lot of people did not like that Dan Hooker fight. I thought Dan Hooker won. He knocked out Bobby Green. A little bit chinny there, it looked like. Lost to Mateus Gamrot. Yeah, I thought Gamrot won that fight. I thought Dan Hooker won that fight too. So 3 out of 4 are losses. You've beaten Brad Riddle, Jamie Malarkey, and Uros Medic. That's nobody. You got decisioned by Matt, the fucking steamroller for Frivola. Like, what are we doing here? Jesus Christ. Ignacio Bahamondes is tall. He's lanky. These guys are the exact same size, but he uses his size better, I believe, than Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner kind of keeps himself a little bit more shelled up than Ignacio Bahamondes. Bahamondes loves that kick. He loves throwing it. He loves ripping to the leg. He loves mixing it up. And that left kick of Ignacio Bahamondes is money. And I think he's going to be able to utilize that really heavily inside of this fight. I think he might be able to put out Jalen Turner, to be honest. If Renato Moicano is able to hurt him with ground and pound, Ignacio Bahamondes with a right hand and a left fucking high kick, ugh, good night. Good night. Plus 260 for Ignacio Bahamondes by knockout. I don't mind the minus 130 money line. That's more favorable. Not to go the distance, minus 180. Definitely looking towards it. Ignacio Bahamondes, I don't think is getting knocked out, though, to be completely honest. I think he has a good chin. So if anything's really going to happen, I think it's Ignacio Bahamondes by knockout or Jalen Turner for his first decision of his career. We're going to move on to the props. We're going to go through each and every fight of the night and just give my best prop of the night. Again, it's a little bit sketchy sometimes. I will indicate if I do not know enough about the fight. And we're going to indicate right here, Jordan Santos versus Ozzy Diaz. I originally had Ozzy Diaz because of his power, and then I looked at it, and he doesn't really have any grappling. If Jordan Santos takes him down, I'm not sure if Ozzy Diaz is going to be able to do anything. I guess we're going to have to see tomorrow night. I love under 2.5 rounds, minus 145. If you want to take the not to go the distance, that's where we'll sit it at. Chris Gutierrez, John Castaneda, we're going to take Chris Gutierrez on the line. But if you want to take over 2.5 at minus 300, probably where you're sitting at, we're probably going the distance in this fight. Most of these fights, though, on the early card, remember, this is a fucking firework card. Like, we have Pereira, Gaethje, Fiziev, Ankalaev, Bahamondes, Turner, Green, Rufi, Blades, Van, Pereira, Petrosian. These are all knockout guys. These are all finishes. Bet the unders. These unders will be coming in. I understand the unders come in less of the time. A lot of the time they're traps. They want you to bet the unders. Listen, this is actually a good night to be betting the unders. We have, anyway, we're going to move on. Marion Santos versus Francis Marshall. Dude, like, I guess the under is probably better. We're going to just take Marion Santos by knockout. I love it too much. Alex Morono versus Carlos Leal. Carlos Leal by knockout. I'm loving it. Bruno Ferreira versus Armin Petrosian. We're going to take Bruno Ferreira on the line. I think he's going to torch Armin Petrosian in the first round, but just in case, a little bit of safety net. Joshua Van versus Ray Tesura. I do love Joshua Van by decision, but the knockout capability is there, so we're going to take the line. Curtis Blades versus Rizvan Kunyev. I don't really want to pick anything in this fight. Genuinely, I don't want to pick either or. I don't want to pick Curtis Blades. I don't want to pick Rizvan Kunyev. I think Kunyev is a bit of a juice head. I think he's a hidden juice head. I think he's coming into the UFC fighting a Curtis Blades. If Kunyev has no juice in his system and he's a true and honest fighter, Curtis Blades should knock him out inside at least the first 2 rounds. The UFC is a different caliber of fighting, and Kunyev is going to find out real fucking quick. If we have to take a side, we're going to take Curtis Blades. I just don't trust Kunyev enough. King Green versus Mauricio Rufy. Mauricio Rufy by knockout. It's too good not to take up. But if you're a little bit sketched out, maybe we can take not to go the distance with King Green and Mauricio Rufy. We're going to go on Ismael Lucindo versus Amanda Lemos. I mean, I loved Lemos. I look more into it. Isman's 13 years younger, got the grappling capability. Lemos can't really get up for shit. She has kind of shitty takedown defense. We're going to have to take Ismael Lucindo. It doesn't matter. Ignacio Bahamondes versus Jalen Turner. I love Ignacio Bahamondes by knockout. It's getting a little bit sketchy when you're taking so many props. We're going to take Ignacio Bahamondes on the line if you really want. Under 2.5 rounds, minus 140. Not to go the distance, minus 180. I don't mind it. Justin Gaethje, Rafael Fiziev. You got to take Gaethje. He won the first go around. Fiziev's on a comeback after an ACL. Tear or whatever it was. He's been on injury leave for a little while. Fiziev also losing his last 2, also losing the last outing. It's just too much for me not to take the side of Gaethje. And Gaethje being knocked out last time, it's a little bit sketchy. We're not sure how his chin is laying, but we're gonna take him anyway. Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. You take Pereira, and still. Now we have 109. What was that? Fucking $10 pays 10 grand. Whee, boys. That's the props. That is the props for the evening. If you like any of them, dude, take a look. Take a look. Probably the sketchiest one on here. The sketchiest pick on here is probably Bruno Ferreira and Blades, probably. Maybe not to go the distance, Santos, Ozzy Diaz. Ozzy Diaz doesn't really go the distance, though, when he loses. So if Santos is going to win, probably going to fucking submit him or something. Actually, what is the line for that? Santos by submission? Plus 400? Take a look at that. Ozzy Diaz, Jordan Santos by submission. Ozzy Diaz gets put down to the ground, tries to force himself back up in a late situation, gets choked out. I can see it happening. Anyway, that is the props I like. $10 pays you 10 grand. Fuck, man. If you got $10 to waste, you got $1 to waste. You want to win $1,000? Let's try it. 12-pick parlay. Probably not going to hit, guys, but you can go for it. We're going to give you guys 3 parlays to take a look at. Of course, I mix them up and fucking add a shitload by myself, but I'm not going to make you guys too stressed out. We're going to go with Chris Gutierrez early. We're going to go with... we're actually going to skip that fight. We're resetting. Ba 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 ba. Chris Gutierrez. Oh my Jesus! Can we stop? Chris Gutierrez, Marion Santos, Carlos Leal plus 174 on an early parlay that is going to get you $141 back if you're on Bet365 with a $4 boost. If you're betting down $50, I love that parlay early. I think all three of those guys are going to win consistently in a row, and that's just going to give you a little bit of early fun to look forward to, so that you can bet some later parlays. If you're looking for a little bit bigger of a parlay, you have Marion Santos, Joshua Van, Mauricio Hufi, and Ignacio Bahamondes sitting at plus 338. If you want to put Chris Gutierrez on there, plus 690. I don't mind it for a 5-pick. Again, $50 gets you $429 with a $34 boost. It is getting a little bit sketchy with a 5-leg parlay, but you can bet a smaller one if you really want. You want to bet if you want to put a prop in there, you can bet Roofy by KO or Hoofy. Man, I don't know how to say this guy's name. I'm just gonna fucking just keep butchering it every single time I say it. I keep changing it up every time I say it. You want to bet Santos by just on the line, just in case you think Francis Marshall might be able to take a round from him with that grappling approach. And then you put Joshua Van on there plus 313 just for a 3-pick parlay. You put Bahamondes on there, you get 614. You put Lucindo on there 1100. You put Chris Gutierrez on there plus 2100. But to be completely honest and fair, these are probably the best picks I would give for the evening. These are probably the picks I will be tailing myself. These are probably the picks I will be putting down. Chris Gutierrez on the money line, Marion Santos on the KO prop or the money line, Carlos Leal on the KO prop or the money line, Joshua Van on the KO prop or money line, Mauricio Rufi on the KO prop or money line, Ignacio Bahamondes on the KO prop or money line, and Isman Lucindo on the money line, seeing as I don't know if she's going to be able to submit Lemos. Lemos, I believe, has been what was it? Standing arm triangle. Let's just double check this. Standing arm triangle by what's her face? Jessica Andrade. Yep, that was her second loss inside of the UFC. Leslie Smith got her with elbows. That's really bad. That's a really bad loss. That's giving me a little bit of worry for Lemos. That's a bad loss. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. The parlays are a little bit rough. I mean, if you want to be super, super risky, if you're feeling risky, bro, you take Gaethje, you take Bahamondes, you take Rufi by KO. Oh, Joshua Van and Santos by KO. Look at this. Look at this parlay. Oh my God, did it just ruin it? Did it just ruin it? I think it just ruined my parlay. We got to redo it again. Let's just redo this real quick. Quick. Come on. Okay. Boom. Okay, Marion Santos by KO. Joshua Van, moneyline. Rufi, KO. Right? Bahamondes, Gaethje. Look at this. $25 gets you $830. I don't mind that. Sketchiest thing on there. Literally the sketchiest thing on there, Gaethje. I love everything else. I mean, take Gaethje out, plus 1,000. That's the bet I'm placing right now, right after I turn on this off. That's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Now, next best bets, probably going to be doing a little bit of NBA. The NBA is getting a little bit close right now. The season's coming to an end soon. The finals are starting. We're going to be taking a look at those. NFL is coming up sooner than later. MLB is starting. I am not touching that. Fuck baseball. It's garbage. I'll see you guys all later for the UFC live stream tomorrow, Saturday, the March the 8th. And I will also be streaming with two buddies in my house. We're going to be getting crunk and just watching the fights, having some fun. I'll see you guys all tomorrow, and I'll see you guys on Sunday for the recap. Have a good night. Peace.